Hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. My name's Robert and this is Pheasant Lane Farm. As you can see from the intro, we had a Komatsu dozer come in here and we are getting ready to put up a barn. Now, I know. 6 months ago, I told you guys there was no way I would build a barn with these crazy lumber prices and everything that's going on. Well, sometimes things go from a want to a necessity, something you just have to have, and we will get into that shortly. Now, it's been a while since I've done a video. There's been some things going on. I want to take 2 to 3 minutes. Stick with me, please. I just want to fill you guys in on everything that's been going on. Number one, the chicken coop video is just about done. Should have that out here in the next day or two. That week was crazy with the weather. We finished the chicken coop. The very next morning at 6 a.m., we left for Tennessee for a week. My in-laws had their 50th wedding anniversary, and also my wife's aunt and uncle also had their 50th wedding anniversary. So we went down to Sevierville, Tennessee, Gatlinburg area, Pigeon Forge area for a week. It was fantastic. I can't wait to go back. But I got some videos coming out. Things just didn't work out the time plan I wanted. I didn't have very good internet down there to try and upload some videos. So we will get to that soon, I promise. Number two, Zooks Welding announced yesterday that he is offering a loader mount chainsaw scabbard. That is what I've been field testing for him for the last month. Actually, not cutting any wood. As you can see, my wood pile is still the same. But I've been looking at it, I've been going over it, seeing if there's anything I could see that would need to be changed. And really, I couldn't find anything. So he announced that yesterday. There will be a video coming out on that this week. Always good to help out a friend. He said, hey, you cut more firewood than I do. Put this on the tractor. Let me know what you think, if there's any design tweaks that need to be made. So go check out his website, zookswelding.com. I think that's up there right now. He called me yesterday and said he's putting it up, and we will get that video out to you shortly. Number three. Now, a lot of things in life can just get put off at certain times. That was kind of what happened this week. Earlier this week, it was about 10:30 at night. I was out doing something, getting something out of the truck. My dad called me. He says, hey, your grandfather just called. He's not feeling well. He's driving himself to the hospital. He thinks he's having a heart attack. Now, if you guys know my grandfather, you would think, oh, that's normal for him. He's 94 years old. He just retired a year and a half ago. He goes to the YMCA every day. I'm pretty sure just to chase the ladies in their 70s. But hey, Gramps, more power to you. Fantastic man. I can honestly say he is the best individual, the best man I've ever met in my life. Fought in World War II, fought in Korea, started his own trucking company, basically started with absolute nothing and has built a little empire. Is just the coolest man in the world. So I wasn't even scared when I went to the hospital because I was like, there's no way my grandpa's dying. So grandpa drove himself to the hospital, called my dad, says, hey, I think I'm having a heart attack. I'm not waiting on an ambulance. I don't want to pay for an ambulance. Go figure. Pulled in the parking lot of the hospital, collapsed. Luckily someone saw him, carried him in. 5 minutes after I got there, they wheeled him out and were life flighting him to a big hospital in Toledo, about 45 minutes away from us. So I kind of recognized the one life flight nurse. So I said, hey, I have experience with this. Can you let me push him to the medevac pad? Let me talk to him real quick. And she was gracious enough. She said, sure. So I was expecting my grandfather to be in a lot worse shape. I hadn't seen him yet. You know, they were getting ready to put him on the bird to fly him to Toledo. So walked with my grandpa. He was telling jokes. He was talking with the female nurse and the other nurse. And I knew he was going to be fine. So they life flighted him. They said, hey, he didn't have a heart attack. We're not sure what's going on. My dad and I rushed up to Toledo Hospital. By the time we got there, most of the tests were done. And to this day, they can't find out what's wrong with him. He was in the hospital for 3 days. And he actually stopped here on the way home from the hospital just to check on the guys that were out here doing the dozer work. So he's very involved. He likes to know what's going on. And literally the greatest person I've ever met in my life. So I love you, Gramps. I know you watch some of these videos every once in a while. I'm glad you're fine. And just take it easy at the Y. you're 94. You don't have to try and keep impressing these 75-year-old ladies. I'm sure they already like you, old Bobo. All right, so that was kind of a big stress for us this week. And then last night, I want to take a quick minute to say this. We went to a rodeo last night. We go to quite a few. My cousin's a team roper. 3 of our friends are pretty serious barrel horse racers. Kiddo looks up to them. So we went last night to a rodeo with those guys. We're all sitting at the trailers, having dinner. Walked up to the grandstands, watched a little bit of the rodeo. About an hour in, Kiddo says, "Hey, I want to go back to the trailer, get something to drink." All right. So we're walking out of the grandstands, and this guy kind of puts his hand out. And I'm good with faces, but not names. But I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this guy before. And he goes, in the middle of a rodeo, he goes, "Hey," he goes, "I watch your YouTube videos." And we start talking, and he goes, "Hey, I was in the market for a Kubota." He goes, "I watched a bunch of your videos. And so, thanks for putting out the good content." He had an elite archery hat on. So we started talking about that. I worked in archery shops all the way up. It was my first job, was actually working in an archery shop. I've actually worked on some of the stuff for the guys that just shot in Tokyo for Team USA. And that's kind of been the big hard things for me with this arm injury, is watching an arrow fly through the air has been one of my biggest passions in life. And knowing that I can no longer do that. I almost sold my bow, which is also an elite, shortly after I got hurt. And I couldn't do it. It's still hanging in the shop. And so talking to that guy last night, that is one of my main goals now, is to be able to get my arm to the point where I can fling an arrow. But fantastic guy. I wish I would have had more time to talk with him. But you know how it is with hungry and thirsty kids who have to use the bathroom. But Kelsey, it was fantastic meeting you last night. I'm so glad you stopped me in the stands. It was nice to meet someone who's a subscriber and who enjoys the content. So what you see is what you get with us, guys. I think a lot of people can relate to that. I don't have any big sponsors. I'm not getting paid to do any of this stuff. I just enjoy doing this. And honestly, over the last 8 months, this has kind of been my therapy. Making these videos for a while every day can kind of get my mind off what's going on with the medical situation and the work situation, all that stuff. But we will wrap that up. But Kelsey, please shoot me an email if you see this video, pheasantlanefarm@gmail.com. I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to get your address. We're getting some hats made. Everything's back ordered right now. I'd like to ship you a hat. So there's some other people I'd promise hats to, but guys, I just can't help it right now. Everything in the world seems to be back ordered. So, alrighty, let's get into this barn. As you can see, there's a very large pad here. I wish I could tell you that we were building a 60 by 120. We're not. I can't afford that, guys. I wish I could. So if you see that wooden stand out there that I had made for another project a year ago, from that post to the grass on that side up to the back of this loafing shed. I may move this loafing shed. I might want the barn a little closer that way. But we are building a 30 by 80. Sorry, arm's hurting a bit today. So I know I told you guys that Amber and I had some serious conversations. There was no way we were going to build a barn with lumber prices crazy. So we bought these 2 loafing sheds from Attica Lumber, a fantastic company. Not far from me. They're known for building some pretty high quality pole barns. And we finished one out, as you guys can see those videos, with the help of some of my carpenter buddies. One of them, though they're both were transformed into 2 stall miniature barns. One is for Kiddo's miniature show horses, and the other one has, we bought this boar goat, and she's just not the smartest thing. I can see her out there right now. Has 4 goats on one side, and the other side is our hay storage, our feed storage. I put a couple shelves in there for Kiddo. Just, her grooming supplies, fly spray, stuff like that. All the good tack we're keeping up in the garage right now, which is another problem in itself, is we only have a 2-car garage. My truck doesn't fit in the garage, so Amber's car goes in the garage, the Kubota goes in the garage. Right now Kiddo's show cart is in there with harnesses, and we're running out of room. So a couple months ago, I was watching the futures, and I was talking to my wife Amber, and I was like, I think lumber's gonna crash here soon. So we kind of threw it back on the table again of now we're at the point where a barn is not a want, a barn is a necessity we need right now. So for giggles, I went to a family-owned, locally owned lumber supply yard. Excuse me. And morning medications are not agreeing with me today. I'm sorry. I said, this is what I want. So I kind of did some variants, kind of had them draw up a plan. And surprisingly, the quote was way less than I was thinking it was going to be. Now, I had gone online to Menards. I buy a lot of stuff from Menards. I'm not buying anything from the barn from Menards, but they do have a nice online kind of design tool. Lets you kind of at least see it in your head and put it on a computer screen. Print it out, get your details, stuff like that. It's really nice for changing color combinations, trying to see what you want. So the price for the barn was way less than I thought it was going to be. And we started this process probably 2 months ago. And the owner of the supply yard said, hey, I have everything in stock except for your trusses and your steel. I said, okay. He goes, are you guys going to do this? And I said, yeah. So he goes, here's what we're going to do. I'm marking you down. Don't pay me anything right now. I'm kind of the person, I like to owe people money. And I was like, why is that? Like, I have the money, I'll pay this barn. He said, let's wait. Lumber's dropping like crazy. Maybe I can save you another $3,000, $4,000 by the time you build this barn. You come pay for it the day we deliver it. Fair enough. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you very much. Very solid people. I feel like they did me a big favor on that. Now, when it comes to builders, in my area right now, I know a lot of guys that used to build pole barns and they're just really not doing it anymore, or they're so backed up they won't even entertain the idea. So I called a company. I've known the one guy for a while. He kind of married a friend of mine, and we'd agreed to have them build a barn. And my original goal was, I know with my arm situation, I can't build a barn. I've never built one before. I have no formal carpentry skills. I can see something in my head and I can build it, like with the chicken coop. I watch YouTube videos, but I don't feel confident enough trying to build a pole barn. And I know I can't do it with my physical limitations right now. There's just no way. So I talked to these guys. They said, hey man, we'll do a barn for you. All right. So it was just going to be like, they pick it up, they drop the barn off, these guys put it up, I cut them a check, we're done. So then I was kind of having second thoughts about that. Even if I can't do a lot of the physical work, I want to be a part of building this barn. So I was actually talking to another friend of mine who is kind of retired from building barns, and was kind of telling him the dilemma I was having in. And out of my surprise, he goes, I will build your barn. And I was kind of shocked because I know the guy's pretty much retired from building barns. And he goes, if you are willing to learn, and that's all you can do is learn, and you can help do things here and there that are within my limitations of my arm, he goes, I will build your barn for you, and I will teach you how to build a barn, and then someday down the road you can build your second barn yourself. I was floored. So I called back the first guys that I had made a verbal agreement with, and I told the guy my situation, and I thought he'd be a little upset, and he wasn't. He goes, that's perfectly fine with me, man. He goes, you do what you have to do. If you ever need anything, you call us up. So it's just kind of like things just seemed to align. Things worked out great. And the guy who is building my barn, I said, all right, I'll pay for the barn materials. It just so happens he buys all his building materials from the same local family-owned business. And it's just, things worked out fantastic. We were way under budget, what I had thought we would be. So things are just working out. But let's talk about the barn real quick. We are building a 30 by 80. Now, the best way to think about it, and I will add some pictures up here that I've designed online. Think about it as two separate barns. It seems to make the most sense. First barn will be a 30 by 40. Now, that's kind of most economical. I was really trying to watch the dollars and the pennies on this. 30 by 40. I'm putting the doors in the eave end, so the sides of the building, not the gable end. That will give me a 16-foot aisleway, and that will give me the potential for 3 stalls on each side, so a 6-stall barn. That is, those stalls will run 10 by 12 feet. Now, some people you talk to, 10 by 10 is a standard horse stall. Other people, 12 by 12. Everything we plan on buying will be fine inside of a 10 by 12 stall. So I'm actually going with overhead doors here. With the way the wind is, I don't want to have to fight or have kiddo fight with the doors, sliding doors, and different weather, the different wind. There's not going to be cattle in there, so we'll be fine. Overhead doors. I know some horse people are like really negative on overhead doors, but I think it'll be just fine. So we're doing 14-foot wide garage doors. Those are back ordered. We ordered those this week. They will not be here till January, so we'll figure that out. So 30 by 40, 6-stall barn with a 12-foot aisleway, 12-foot height, 16-foot aisle, 12-foot height. On the same ridge line, so the same roof will just keep extending out, basically another 30 by 40 with 3 open sides. I'm going to put the convertible curtains on the side, like a lot of your big Amish cow barns, your big dairy barns have. Reason being, that 30 by 40 is going to house cattle and hogs on that side. I have it to where they'll be able to go right out in this pasture. There's 3 separate pastures here. I'm talking to the neighbor about leasing land. Guess I can't really point with this arm. 2 to 3 acres on that side. I'll put a cutout, so we'll be fine for grazing animals. Everything's just be good there. Now, we used to raise hogs just enough every year to feed our family, give away to friends for Christmas. So 4 to 5 hogs. I can raise them in that barn. We usually buy those in April, send them to butcher at the end of October, early November. And what's nice about the hogs, not having the hogs year round, is I can fold up the hog pens, and then I can use that for storage. I can put the dump trailer in there. Both our boats are at Dad's house right now. I know he's kind of taking up his space. If I can at least bring our duck boat over here. So we just need storage. All these implements that sit out are driving me crazy. The only storage that we have on this barn this property right now is a 20-foot container that came off a box truck. It's just not cutting it for what we need. So that is it, guys. I'm super excited. I'll try and find some images and put up here in this video showing what the barns are going to look like. I don't have one image of them kind of hooked together. You'll just have to use your imagination. But this was like the most bang for the buck that I could find. And people don't realize, as soon as you go over 30 feet, the cost starts to substantially go up with width. Bigger trusses, engineered trusses, all that stuff. So basically, a 30 by 80 is the same square footage as a excuse me, I think I swallowed a bug. Same square footage as a 40 by 60. But I think in this way, it gives me a lot more usable space. So stay tuned, guys. I might be pumping out 3-4 videos this week. I got to get them out. And like I said, some of the things that have happened over the last 2 weeks I can control. Some of them, like bad internet in Tennessee, and then stuff going on with my gramps, we can't control, and that's what's important. And I know you guys understand. So my name is Robert. This is Pheasant Lane Farm. It is hot. I'm going to go in the house and see what chores the wife has for me today. I know Kiddo was working on fair projects this morning, and that's another big thing. In 2 weeks, we haul into our fair, and so we'll do a video on that. It's kind of a big family tradition in my family. Kiddo's taken both mini horses, and I think she's in 6 or 7 classes. So it'd be a busy fair for her. Her first fair showing being last year. Everything got shut down with COVID. But, you know, she's got to take care of the family, you know. But right after the fair, I think they're going to start on this barn. Start on this barn. See, I must be getting dehydrated already. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Thank you for your understanding. I've already told some people stuff was going on with my grandpa, and I've already gotten some people saying, hey, texting me, hey, tell Gramps that we hope he's doing all right. And watch for that Zooks video coming out. So, all right, guys. Thanks for everything you guys do. And Kelsey, again, man, it was so fantastic meeting you last night. All the way home from the rodeo, my mom was like, my wife was like, that's just so fantastic that someone flagged you down. And it was strange in Tennessee. I'd be walking down, you know, we went to the aquarium, we did a bunch of things in Tennessee, and people would like stop and look back at me and go to say something and then wouldn't. So I don't know if they kind of recognized me, they kind of didn't. I think this was part of the reason. I went to a barber 3 days before we left for Tennessee. I said, just trim up the beard. I was getting big. It was like, man, it's starting to look okay now. It goes through that trashy stage for a while. And the barber was an elderly man, and I don't know what happened, and he cut my beard off. So I didn't want the guy to feel bad. I still tipped him. I told him everything was fine, but I was pretty upset when I came home. And I don't know if that threw some people off. But if you guys ever see me out in public, give me a shout. And I love talking to you guys. So take care, and God bless. We'll catch you on the next one.